welcome back to the channel. Today we are ranking every single 2022 game I played this year on the Nintendo Switch, with one exception, because I kept it games that released in 2022. So there are plenty of games that I played for the first time, like A Short Hike, which you should play, but I didn't include them because they didn't come out this year. So that's the only stipulation, and we got some good ones. So Pat, shrink down and let's get this show on the road. Okay, so here we are. Here are my 20 games. I'm covering a few. And as you can see, the good thing is there's no F tier, which means all these games I do recommend to play, sort of. I'm just going to go over what I like, what I didn't like, give them a grade, and put some footage in the background. I don't want this to be too long, so Pat, let's go. Okay, first off, we have Lemon Cake. And this was, well, do you consider it an indie game? I don't know. It did get a physical release. And this is basically a restaurant sim or a bakery sim where you own your own bakery and you make food for people. You kind of do all the things, right? You bake things, you serve things, you can harvest things. It's very like Diner Dash-esque. There's always something to do. You're kind of against the clock. I enjoyed this game a lot. However, and I know I'm not selling that well, I will put it in C just because of the price. It's $29.99. I feel like this game, if it was like 10 or 15, it would be like a no-brainer to get. But also, there's not a ton to do. You are kind of confined into this bakery where there's like 4 rooms that you can go in. And because of that reason, it did get a little stale for me, I will say. But I do highly recommend this, especially if it goes on sale. So again, C is not the end of the world, all right? All right. Next up is Nintendo Switch Sports. And by the way, all these are not going to be like farming games. These are just like the main games that I played this year. So Nintendo Switch Sports, man, this one I was super hyped about. Obviously, I'm a big fan of like Wii Sports Resort, and things like that. And I feel like this game gets a lot of flack, but I had a ton of fun with it. I don't think I had S tier fun, not even A tier fun, but I will put it in tier B because I keep going back to it. I literally keep going back to it. They just added golf, and I don't know if you guys knew this, but every single week, literally every single week, they add in new costumes. So you have to like grind to get to the costumes. And like, it was super fun. There was like a Halloween costume event, a Christmas costume event. The sports are solid. I like the online play. I think it's very, very fun. Like that lived up to expectation. It didn't exceed my expectations, but it hit my expectations. So that's good. Next up is Harvestella. And this was the brand new farming game from Square Enix, which was kind of weird because they're usually in the RPG space. And this was like their best attempt at sort of like a Rune Factory game. And this one got a lot of hate too. Jeez, these last two have been kind of controversial. I like Harvestella. I like it a lot, actually. I think it's pretty good. Visually, it's really cool to look at. It's very story heavy, which is why it kind of comes down a little bit for me. I do like story, but I don't like a lot of it, you know? But the story was good enough for me to keep playing. I would put Harvestella at the B tier as well. There are some things that I don't like about it. For example, the time passes really, really quickly, even with the update, because compared to the demo and the main release, they did kind of tweak that a little bit. But it's still, the days do pass very quickly. And like I said, it's very dialogue heavy. There's no voice acting, so I'm kind of just like staring at the screen sometimes, just hitting A. But I think it's a solid enough game. I bought the physical version. I thought it was kind of fun. Next up is Hoko Life. Another controversial game. Man, you love to see that. This game was probably the most hyped. I guess you would call it an indie game. And I have mixed feelings still. I like the game. It's basically an Animal Crossing clone. It's basically like, hey, honey, we have Animal Crossing at home. And then you go home and you play Hoko Life, and it ain't Animal Crossing. And that's kind of why I kind of bring it down a little bit, because the polish on this game is just not there. The animals, the villagers in this game just don't look quite right. they're kind of nightmare fuel, I'm not gonna lie. And I sound like a broken record here, but I am gonna put it at B tier. I'm gonna put it... I'm gonna put it above Harvestella just because there is a lot to do in Hoko Life. Like, I really did enjoy myself. I covered the game. I did a review on it. I did multiple streams. There is holiday events and things like that to kind of keep the game going. And the big selling point, the community made furniture and stuff like that. So you can make custom furniture, upload it to the internet, and you can download people's creations. I thought that was cool, but the game itself is just not very polished for me. So anyway, Cult of Lamb. Cult of Lamb. Surprising game. If you don't know what Cult of Lamb is about, it's kind of weird. It's a weird concept because you play as a little lamb and you have to basically take care of your cults. It has a very demonic theme to it, which I think could be a turnoff for some people. For me, it's a selling point. I love it. I think it's great. Very, very action heavy. For me though, and I know this is probably going to be up for debate here, I didn't love it. I liked certain parts of it, but the combat for me was just a little I definitely think it's above Lemon Cake, but I didn't really go back to it too much. I did enjoy my play with it, but I don't know. I kind of want to move it up. There is farming elements to it. There was like a Halloween event to it. I don't know. I kind of lost interest pretty quickly. So I'll put it at high C above Lemon Cake because there's definitely more to do with it. Man, will we ever get an S or an A game? I don't know. Stay tuned. Okay. Kirby's Dream Buffet. This was a weird little release from Nintendo. They do this sometimes where they release these small eShop only games. And man, I love Kirby. I'm obsessed with Kirby. Kirby's Dream Buffet, however, kind of was like a firework, right? It was great. You light it off, everyone cheers, but then it kind of fizzles out and it goes away. And that's that's perfect to describe Dream Buffet. I'm going to put Dream Buffet above Cult of Lamb. I really like the theming for it. Man, I am super picky. I'm just realizing this. But again, I haven't gone back to it. There was like probably a 2 or 3 week period where I was like gung-ho about this game. And then it just kind of fizzled and didn't really go back to it. I do like the unlockables. I like that there's online. It's basically like a 4-player obstacle course type game. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm trying to look ahead. Are we going to get S and A tier games? I don't know. Okay. I think we will. This next game, I haven't even talked about on the channel yet. It's called Lil Gator Game. And this is actually a fairly new release. And I don't want to spend too much time on this, but basically you're an alligator that used to play like sort of make-believe with your sister. You would go on these like fake adventures and stuff. And now your sister is older, but you're still a kid at heart and you kind of want to recreate that. So basically you and your friends like set up little, like the enemies in this game are little cardboard things. And it's like Breath of the Wild meets a short hike. And this is our top game so far. I would give it an A. You need to check this game out. It's sort of like an open worlds type. It's so cute. It's sort of like Night in the Woods meets a short hike meets Breath of the Wild. It's really good. Again, the enemies are like cardboard and everything's fake and stuff, but it's great. It's really good. You gotta check it out. Okay. Next up, Dinkum. Where did this game come from? I'm still asking this question to this day. I don't know where this came out, but it released and it took over my summer. Dinkum deserves S. Dinkum absolutely deserves S, and here's why. This was the best multiplayer game I played this year. If you didn't know, Dinkum is basically an open world sort of farm sim game, but it takes place in Australia. And because of that, you'll see things you don't normally see in other farming games, like kangaroos and crocodiles and things like that. The graphics for me are okay. It's kind of a mixture between like a Roblox and like a Dragon Quest Builders, Minecraft type thing. Now, the downside is it's not on Switch, and I feel like if it was on Switch, it would be a huge success. And there are plans for a console release, but man, this game, yeah, I can't say any bad things about it. It's just really great, and it's in early access, so like it's not even at its full potential yet. Dinkum, man, I still don't know where that game came from. I don't play it as much anymore, I will say that, so I'm kind of tempted to put it down to A, but just the amount of fun that I had, the multiplayer was just great. I kind of want to play it right now that I'm talking about it. Okay. Next up, let's just go for another controversial game here. We have Mario Strikers Battle League. And I feel like this game gets way more hate than it deserves. And I've been one of the haters, so I can't even talk too much. But the game as a whole is good. I don't want to like get that twisted with you guys. The game itself is good. It looks good. It plays good. It's strikers. At its core, it's strikers. However, it kind of stops there because there's not a lot to do with it. There's not a lot of modes. It's very easy once you master the controls, once you master like your techniques and stuff. It's very easy. This game has gotten updates with new characters, new stages, but it's not enough to kind of get me back. I definitely think it's B tier. I think it's better than Dream Buffet. Okay. I think it's B tier. Something that I will probably one day. That wasn't a good sell either. I will go back to this game. It's just not. There wasn't enough to it. There wasn't enough modes. There wasn't enough things to do. So, yeah. You deserve a B though, Mario. Okay. Next up, we have Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I almost forgot the name, which would be very ironic. S. Kirby equals S, except if you're Dream Buffet. Okay. This game was excellent. This might be my game of the year. Can you tell I hate committing to things? Yeah, this was a fantastic game. You're not really open world Kirby, but just like 3D Kirby. It felt good. I have heard criticisms about this game being too short and not a lot to do. And to counter that, I do think it was a short experience, but that's on brand with Kirby. But there are also time trials and like against the clock sort of mini games that you can go back to. Honestly, I was very, very shocked by this. I saw the release and I was like, man, this is going to be good. I didn't realize how good it was going to be. If you have not tried Kirby and the Forgotten Land, you got to do it. Straight up, you got to do it. It's that good. It's that good. Okay. Next up is Ooblets. My girlfriend really enjoyed this game. She 100%ed this game pretty much. I, on the other hand, did not enjoy it as much. I'm still going to put it in B tier. I'm probably going to put it... This is tough. Do I like it? I don't know. See, now I'm like ranking them within... I think Ooblets is... I like Harvestella better, oddly enough. Ooblets is a wacky sort of farm sim game, but there is an emphasis on like collecting the creatures, which I really liked. And then you can actually use them to battle. I say that in quotations because they like, it's like a dance battle sort of thing. And it was fun. I don't really know what to say about it because it's just like a really wacky experience. You have to play it to really understand what's going on there. But I would give it a B because there's a lot to do in the game. You can definitely put like 30, 40, even 50 hours into that game. And it's just a really well-made game. Has a lot of personality to it. And so yeah, I would go B for that one. Next up, Pokemon Legends Arceus. I don't know what it was about this game that I absolutely loved. Was that a little curveball? Did you think I was going to bury that game? Arceus was fantastic. I really, really, really enjoyed what Arceus was going for. There were things that I really, really loved, and there was things that were just omitted from the game. And for Arceus, the things that I was wanting were gym battles in general. There wasn't a lot of battles in this game. The graphics were so-so. I've kind of learned to love them. There was one update to this game, but there was no multiplayer. Like, I don't even think there was like Pokemon Home integration. You couldn't trade Pokemon. There was a lot of things missing from this game. I still would put it at A. I think Arceus, I really enjoyed. The catching mechanic was great. Shiny hunting was the most fun I've ever had in a Pokemon game. I like the original story. I'm going to put it above Gator Game. What am I doing? Gator Game's great, but Arceus just had what I wanted, you know? I wanted that experience, okay? Next game. Another one I have not talked about at all on the channel. I haven't really talked to anyone about, really. And that is a game called Donut Dodo. Now, this game came out sort of out of nowhere, and this is sort of a love letter to the 80s arcade games. Very different from any other game on this list. Well, except one. If this game would have, and this is a bold claim here, if this game would have released in the mid to late 80s, this would be a cult classic game for sure. It is an arcade style game. It looks like it's from the 80s. Basically, you run around, you collect donuts, and that's it. You collect all the donuts. But it's so much deeper than that. I love arcade games, by the way. You can collect donuts and go on your way, or you can collect certain glowing donuts in a row and get a high score. So, I don't know. This was a game that I played a lot before bed. And at first I was like, oh, this is sort of like just a time waster type thing. But as I started playing it more and more, I'm like, man, this is a masterpiece. This is really, really good. I'm going to put it in A. So weird, man. I have Gator Game and Donut Dodo above like Strikers, and like it's weird, but that's where I'm at. Donut Dodo, it's less than like $3, by the way. If you like arcade games, only if you like arcade games, putting the quarters in and just losing all your money. If you like that feeling, Donut Dodo is for you, for sure. Next up, Rune Factory 5. I don't know what it was. I love Rune Factory. Oh, God, I hate that. You know what? People are actually saying that Rune Factory 5 is their game of the year, which makes me think I have to go back and play this game because I was so excited for Rune Factory 5. I love the Rune Factory series. I played it on the Wii. I played 4 even. I think I missed 3, but I played a few other ones. I love Rune Factory. I love the idea of like an RPG meets life sim, farm game type thing. I bought the special edition of this game. I was all in on this game. And then I started playing it. The world isn't great. The graphics aren't great. And it just didn't pull me in. I might look back on this video and say, Pat, that's an S tier game. But I just couldn't get into it. I'm very interested if any of you watching played Rune Factory 5. Sell me on it. Because I kind of want to play it again. Obviously, I spent a lot of money on that special edition. So I kind of want to go back to it. But yeah. D tier. And just because I just couldn't get into it. And the world is just ugly. It's just an ugly looking game. New Rune Factory is coming though. So yeah. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Okay. I'm too hurt. Okay. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is not a new game. Why is it on the list? They came out with new courses. That's why. I wasn't sure if I wanted to include this on the list or not. But the deluxe courses, so they came out with a booster pass, I think they called it, and it's not done yet. So I can't give this an S tier, obviously, but basically they're releasing every few months, they're releasing new tracks, and the tracks that they're releasing are either from Mario Kart Tour, which is actually a really great mobile game. It deserves a B. There's definitely good tracks. There's old tracks that I love that have been remastered. But the inconsistencies for me is just like all over the place. I love that this game is getting updates and it's just now it's even more amazing. But yeah, some of the tracks look really bad, like not Nintendo standard. I will say that. But there are some really good ones, man. Waluigi Pinball, Merry Mountain, like they're really good. Okay, next up is Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. Probably besides Strikers, this is probably the most controversial game on the list. And I had a lot of fun with this game and still am having fun. So this is the Pokemon Company's first attempt at an open world Pokemon game. And I feel like it was successful and, you know, at some points didn't work. I would put it in A though, and I'm going to put it above Gator Game and stuff. I'm actually going to put Arceus above Scarlet and Violet. And my reasoning is I think the gameplay of Arceus was better. The performance of Arceus was better. But Scarlet and Violet, come back to me in a year, because this game is definitely going to get DLC. It's already getting updates, which Arceus did not. So I think Scarlet and Violet gets an A for me. I like the new Pokemon designs. I like the open world. In that same vein, the open world was not great. It was very muddy. The textures were awful. It was a very empty feeling world, but it was very fun. It was very addicting, like most Pokemon games are. So I can't kid myself and put it any lower than A, because I am still addicted to this game. I love building my team. I love trading, shiny hunting. There's just a lot to do, but the polish isn't there. If I peel back my Pokemon fanboyness, this is probably like a low B, but I just had a lot of fun with it. So fun equals high score for me. I don't know. Okay. Next up is Doraemon Story of Seasons, Friends of the Kingdom. And this was sort of a sequel to the first Doraemon Story of Seasons. This game, like Harvestella, is very, very story heavy, text heavy. I didn't mind it as much. This one is kind of a meh for me. I was looking forward to it, but at the same time, I'm looking forward to A Wonderful Life way more, like the mainline Story of Seasons games. I would put it probably with Harvestella. I actually did enjoy Harvestella a tiny bit more, and obviously I enjoyed Hoko Life a little bit more too. Yeah, I think this is very, like, the game itself looks absolutely amazing. It looks stunning, like a watercolor type aesthetic. I think it's the best Story of Seasons has ever looked. But I think because you play as a child, there are certain limitations that I'm wanting from a Story of Seasons game, like getting married and things like that. And I kind of like just having my own house rather than living with I don't know. That's very nitpicky, but if I was more of a fan of Doraemon, I would like it more. But I'm just going to put it middle of the road B, sort of with these games that I'm just like meh about. So, yeah. Next up is Shovel Knight Dig. This is another game I haven't really talked about. I have a lot of just weird indie games that I just play throughout the year. And for me, I'm going to put this one, I think I'm going to put B. I'm actually going to put it above some of these. I'm going to put it right there. I think middle of the road, definitely enjoyed it more. This is a roguelike, I don't even know what to call it. It's not really a dungeon crawler because you play as Shovel Knight, has amazing games on the Switch already. And you kind of dig your way down. It's like a dungeon, but you're digging your way down. It's really weird. Kind of like Dig Dug vibes. There are boss battles, and after every sort of dungeon level, you get to choose like a power up, or, you can choose to heal. And I had a lot of fun with this game. The soundtrack is fantastic. They just make good games. If there's a Shovel Knight game on the Switch, I'm going to buy it no matter what. So it was great. If you like dungeon crawlers, if you like roguelike games, definitely try this one out. Super polished. You can beat this game actually less than an hour, but I am not good. So it took me like 15 hours. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it. Okay, we're ending on very good notes here. Next up, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. I'm going to go A. This is classic arcade Ninja Turtle action in your face. And I loved it. I loved playing Turtles in Time when I was a kid. And this brought everything back. Super well-made game. Very difficult as well. I thought this was very difficult. And if you have friends, which I can't imagine having, this would this would be great. I think multiplayer in this game would be so much fun. I didn't get to experience that. But even solo, I thought this game was worth playing for sure. 100%. Splatoon can't miss. The first one, S tier game. The second one, S tier game. And Splatoon 3, S tier game. I'm actually going to put it, Kirby didn't really come, whatever. I'm going to put Splatoon 3 in S tier. It's a fantastic game. It's right there with Mario Kart. I would probably give the edge to Mario Kart being the best multiplayer game on the Switch. But Splatoon 3 improved on just about everything from Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2. And just expanded so much. The story mode is fantastic. And I don't even like Splatoon 3 story mode. The story mode in Splatoon 3 was great. The weapons, the characters, the Splatfest. It's that good. So I think this is my list of the games that I played in 2022. Again, I did play other games but they didn't come out in 2022, so I didn't want to include it. But going down this list, I mean, most of the games live in the B to S category, which is what you want from a good year of gaming. Now, even the ones at C and even D, I did have fun with, but just weren't enough to bring them up higher, I would say. So all these games I would actually recommend. I do think that there is someone who, again, has this in Game of the Year. And there's probably someone who has this in F. Like, that's what makes gaming so fun. Everyone has their own opinions and stuff. Let me know. I'll leave the link to this tier maker, by the way, in the description if you want to make your own. Some of you may have not played Donut Dodo before, but you can certainly rank all these other ones. So this was fun. 2022, again, okay year of gaming, but there was some standouts, and the Pokemon Company, I think, is getting to the point where they're about to start making S-rank games again. So that's exciting. But thank you guys for watching. If you're still here, tell me a joke. Tell me a joke in the comment section below. I'm going to go. This video is way too long. I'll see you later. Peace out, everyone.